Hey everybody, it's Kathy Champion and welcome to Random Acts of Crafting. I am going to show you a couple things. We are going to make a card. This is actually the card that we're going to make, but we're going to scale it down. And I'm probably going to do something different on the inside than this, but this one was a little bit too big, and it is my prototype. I am going to stamp across here, but I'm going to use this paper. But before we get to the card, I wanted to show you, I did a little bit of shopping yesterday. I had to go to my doctor. I had the stitches taken out of my foot and recast, so a very good report. 4 more weeks and then I can go into a walking boot, so everything's proceeding as planned. But what I wanted to show you, I heard that Hobby Lobby was having their 75% off sale, so I went in and I saw these two stamps. These are the wooden block stamps. I love the way they feel. I don't like the way they store, but I do love a wood block stamp. I thought, how cute is this one? This reminds me of Made It Con, and if any of you have been to Made It Con, you know this is exactly what it is. It's crafting, it's laughing, it's making new friends, and this stamp said it all. Craftiness equals happiness. I love it. And then I saw this little coffee cup, and who doesn't love a very cute little coffee cup that says happiness is a good cup of coffee shared with a friend. Now this stamp right here was originally $16.99. Whenever you see a red sticker at Hobby Lobby, it's automatically 75% off. So this stamp was only $4.24. I mean, really, I could not resist that one. This one was originally $8.99. and it was on sale for $2.24. So those were the only two stamps that I got, because the last time they had their sale, I really stocked up on wooden block stamps. But I'm going to show you real quick these. This was $3.99. This is soft spoken. It's me and my big ideas. Look at this for a recipe album or book. The salt and pepper, in the kitchen, cooking, the chef's hat, the timer, yum, a butcher knife, the pot with the spoon in it, what's cooking. I thought that was just too cute. There was also another one that I got that was Jolie's Boutique, which I always love her stuff. $5.99 for $1.49. This one, like I said, was $3.99 for 99¢. You can't beat it. These are actually little cloth mittens, and the rolling pin, all of this stuff, the baking sheet with the little star cookies, eggs and a broken shell. How cute is that? The spoons. This apron actually feels like cloth. I have not taken these out to examine them yet, but they were just too cute. You got a measuring cup under there. I love them. I fell in love with those. The poppies and prairie flowers, which are always beautiful. $5.99, $1.49. I got two of these. I got one in the fall colors, and then these are the purples and browns. Both of these would be beautiful for fall. $4.99 for these stickers. These are very substantial stickers. They're popped up. The weenie dogs are so cute. I just wish I could find something that had Shih Tzus on them, because anybody that knows me knows I have two little Shih Tzus that I love dearly. They are my babies. $4.99 for $1.24. You can't beat it. These are wooden sentiments. Beautiful, moment, adore, and shine, hello, sparkle, awesome, and X's and O's. 9 pieces, originally $4.99, $1.24. This also, I'm going through these rather fast because I do want to get to the card. Again, love you forever and always. You are my happy. X's and O's, our story. My heart is yours. These are so wonderful to put on a card to your husband. These are just wonderful. And with this wood, I think you can probably color them with your alcohol markers, or maybe even your Tombow markers. So I'm gonna try that. I was looking for these from different states that I knew someone in. The only one I could find was Alabama, and I do have friends in Alabama. So for Maymay and Edith, y'all are my Alabama friends. I may very well have to do an ATC that represents your state. I do have some of these that I had bought at full price, which are $3.49. I think I did use my 40% off because I never ever buy anything for full price. But 87 cents. I just wish they had a lot more of these because I would have definitely scooped them up. But these were just adorable. I just wanted to share with y'all my small haul from Hobby Lobby yesterday after my doctor's appointment. My husband took me over there and was very patient to carry all this stuff because I was rolling around on my little knee scooter, and I actually ran into a little girl there that was on a knee scooter too. Her name was Megan. Shout out to you, Megan. And she was just adorable, and she subscribed to my channel and also to my Facebook page. So you never know when you're going to meet a new friend when you go into a craft shop. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you before I get started on my card. Now back to my card. What I did is, and you can do this in a variety of ways, I actually just cut out, using my Brother Scan and Cut, I cut out a 9-inch circle. And this is going to make our rocker card. This right here, as I told you, is the rocker card, and if you sit it down like this, it does rock. So this will sit up on someone's desk, their mantle, in a kitchen window, or whatever. And I made this with just some very simple elements, stamp set, some different colored paper, a little sentiment that said "Give Thanks." I used this particular stamp set from Maymay Made It, and this is the one that's called Thankful Thoughts. I love this stamp set for the fall. She released this last year for the fall, and I loved it. And I believe this was in her stamp set of the month, in the scripture stamp set. And this one is just adorable. I love it. I love the pumpkins. This is this one right here, and I colored it with my Nouveau markers and cut it out, and I did it on a heavy cardstock. As you can see, this is what it looked like before. This is shadowed so well that you don't have to worry about shading because it's already shaded for you. Very easy to color. And then you've got these beautiful sentiments. This strip here is what I used across the top, and I butted the paper right up to it to make it look like it was just sitting up on top of that. Beautiful stamp set. So we're going to get started on making a smaller version of this using this. Now, like I said, I cut this out using my Brother's Scan and Cut, and I set it for a 9-inch circle. I put this full page of 12 by 12 in it, and as you can see, I have a little left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this off and put this in my scrap bin. So we will do that a little bit later. I'm going to lay it over here for now. Actually, I think I'm going to lay it right there in case I do need it. So what we're going to do at this point is we are going to actually score this. But let me grab my scoreboard and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and what we're going to do now is we're going to score this in half. So let's see. We know that we have a 9-inch circle, and because this is a dimensional pattern, I am going to do my best to keep this as straight as I possibly can. So all the way over here, and I'm just looking to make sure, and you might even want to use, if you have a T-roller, you might even want to use a T-roller to make sure. Now we know that it's going to be 4.5, and that looks like that's pretty straight to me. So anyway, I am going to go in here at 4.5, and I'm going to make a good little score line right down there, just like so. Now I'm going to fold this over. Let's move our scoreboard out of the way, because we do need to, you hear my puppies in the background. They are being their regular little rambunctious selves. They're playing. So my little boy Toby, he always sounds ferocious, but he really isn't. He thinks he is. Okay, so now that we got a good crease on this, and that looks really good. I had this other piece that was left over from this one, So I'm going to make use of it. It's beautiful. It's got the fall leaves and things in it that's just beautiful. And I think this yellow really complements it. But what we want to do is make sure that we have enough of space up here to run the stamp across the top. So let's take the stamp off and let's set it down just so it's on the very top of the card. And so we can stamp it right there. And it's nice that we got a line here that we can kind of line it up on. I think that line right there would be perfect. Now I also want to check and make sure that it's even over here. And let me grab my Tim Holtz ruler. And what I want to do is make sure that I've got, that's 1.5 inches from that side. And we want 1.5 inches. Oops, got to move it over a little bit. I got stuff on the other side of my desk. Yeah, that's right. And that's 1.5 inches. Sorry about that noise, but my scoreboard fell over right beside my feet. That's 1.5 inches, so that is pretty much perfect. Now, what I'm going to do, since this is a long stamp, I am going to use my Misty to stamp this. And I'm also going to use my VersaFine, I mean not my VersaFine, but my Memento ink, because I do want to use my alcohol markers with this. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take out as much of this stuff that I don't need. And I definitely don't need this many magnets, but always be careful with your magnets because you know they will snap together if you put them too close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up very carefully and I'm going to bring it over. Once we get this positioned in here, let's see if we can make it fit. Yes, it'll fit like that. So if you are stamping a bigger piece of paper, this is my large Misty too, but if you're stamping a larger piece of paper like this, just you can do it diagonally. It still works as long as you make sure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this point lines up on that 4, so if it does move, I will know that this is where this needs to line up at. So hopefully it won't move. Let's put another magnet on it just for good measure. We got plenty. And maybe one right there. Okay. Let's pick that stamp up. And that did not move, so that's good. And then we're going to ink this up. And like I said, I am going to grab my Memento because I do want to color this with my Nouveau alcohol markers. So let's see if I can move this over just a hair so you can see me ink up my stamp. And you never want to rub, you just want to tap that ink. And turn your ink pad because ink pads are not always perfect. They have little dents and divvies in them, so you might get ink more in one place than you do another. Now I've already gotten ink all over the base of my Misty here, or my plate. So I am going to clean that up before I stamp because I don't want that ink. I don't think it will touch the paper, but I don't want to take any chances. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'm going to just set that back in there. And let me grab a wipe. And I am just going to come in like so and just pick up that excess ink. And see, there was quite a bit on there. I just don't want to take a chance of messing up my piece of paper. So now we're just going to bring this over. And we are going to press this down. I'm going to put a little pressure against it. I really want to get a good stamp the first time if I can. So let's see. It could use a little bit more ink, so let's just ink it one more time. I want a nice crisp image. And as you know, Memento doesn't always give you the crisp image that the VersaFine does. That's why I love VersaFine, but VersaFine doesn't work well with alcohol markers because it will bleed. And I've made a mess with my ink again. I always get ink all over me and all over everything else when I am stamping. So again, I'm going to come in and clean this up just a little bit. I am a little shaky today, and I think I just really overdid it yesterday with my trip out, my trip to the doctor, and woke up with a headache this morning. So, but I am feeling better now. So I'm hoping that that was just from being overly tired. It's amazing when one of your limbs, you can't use it, it's like the rest of your body takes the brunt of it too, as well. So I'm sure any of y'all that has had a leg out of commission would know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Now I'm going to use the same little wipe just to wipe the stamp down, and I'm going to clean the stamp much better in a little while. But for right now, this is plenty good. Just want to get the brunt of that ink off of it so it doesn't stain it too bad. But you know, a stained stamp is a love stamp, so it's okay that if they stain a little bit. Now I think that's just beautiful just like it is, but you know me, I am going to color that up. We're going to put some color on it, some fall colors. So let's get all of my magnets back over here. And this little thing right here is just an accessory for the, if you needed to square something up in the center or something, those work great. They're just guides. So I love my Misty. I have the mini and the full-size one, and I use it all the time because it is a wonderful tool to have in your arsenal of tools. So here we go. We are going to pull out some markers. Now we know we got orange pumpkins, so let's get us a nice bright orange and maybe a yellow. We're going to do that medium yellow. So I'm using 393 or 383. Goes my old eyes again. That's 393 and 403. And we're going to need a light brown. I'm just going to go ahead and pull these out while I'm here. Sort of, maybe this 404 would be good. And I also need a red, and I'm going to do the 379 for the red. Okay. Let's start with our orange. I want to get in there and get those pumpkins colored first. So I'm going to just set this one up here so I can kind of see a guideline. I really love the way these colors worked out. So let's do our pumpkins first. So I'm going to come in right here. And I'm not going to make y'all watch me do all of this coloring. So I will put on some, a little music, and we'll fast forward through this, because watching somebody else color can be a little boring. But I love, love, love using these Nouveau alcohol markers. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I need to open that up. Don't forget to do that because you do not want that ink bleed. And alcohol markers will bleed through. We all know that if we've used alcohol markers. So I'm going to use my little protector, and I'm going to open it up because as you can see, I already got some ink right there. But it's okay because you know what we'll do? We'll cover that up with something. Not a big deal. Should have thought about that prior to putting this down and starting to put ink on it, but I didn't. Alright, so just relax and enjoy the coloring process. So we got that finished coloring, and that looks really pretty. So now I'm going to fold this back in half, and we are going to butt this right up to it. And it looks like it's going to come right down to the edge of the card, which is fine. Or you know what? I have another smaller piece that may work better. Let's cut this one in half and see. Let's see if this one won't look better under there. Considering, so let's see, this one is 5 1/2, so 2 3/4. 2 3/4. That should give us our half line. Let's see how that'll look on there. We might not need that as big a piece as what we had originally thought. So let's get this out of our way because I don't think we're going to need to color anymore. Not right now anyway. Oh yeah, I think I like this better. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and glue this down flat. And I'm going to use some art glitter glue. One thing I love about the alcohol markers too is they dry immediately, so you don't have to wait for them to dry. They don't warp your paper. Some of your water-based markers you have to be very light-handed. I know I have the Tombow and I love them, but you do have to be very light-handed with them, or you will put down too much ink. Your paper warps, and then you don't get a really good look. So that is so cute. There we go. Now how cute is that? And let's see if our card rocks. And it does, and that's what we want, because what is a rocker card that does not rock? Now I am going to press this down again because I did open it up when I was coloring. Alrighty, so we know now that we want to put, and I love the way that pumpkin looked on that burlap circle. So I'm thinking that I might do a little bit different shape. Okay, I think that my mic wasn't working at that point, but what I did is I did cut a piece of burlap, the burlap paper, and I am going to put it into my my cuddle bug, and we're going to use a circle die. I think we're just going to do a plain circle on the front of this like we did that original prototype card that I showed you in the beginning. Hopefully this is going to work really well, and this circle is going to hold that pumpkin little cutout that I did, and I think it's going to look really good on there. So I'm going to load up my A plate, followed by my C plate. Then I'm going to lay down my burlap paper, and then I'm going to put the circle die face down on top of the right side of the paper. And then I'm going to close it up with my B plate. And then we're going to go ahead and crank this through. And just for good measure, I am going to crank this through twice, which is going to be 4 passes, bringing it back to myself and then back again, and then one more time. And hopefully with doing it this way, since I did not use the shim, I should be able to get a good cut. So let's see, this is coming out really well, so that's good. Yeah, a little tug there, but it came out very even and nice. So let's go ahead and see if we can close up our cuddle bug and clear my desk off, because I think what I want to do is I want to stamp. I'm having a little bit of difficulty because I want to put my plates in, but for whatever reason my cuddle bug is wanting to adhere to my tabletop, and when I want it to adhere, I can't get it to. See, it's stuck. Okay, alright, let's just go ahead and take those plates out and close it up and see if we can just move it on off the desk at that point. I don't give up easy. It's still not working. Okay, we try and try, and then finally we just say, forget it. Let's just put this to the side and get on with this card. So we're going to go ahead and work this piece of burlap, this nice little circle that we've cut. I'm going to use my VersaFine Onyx Black ink because I really do like that for my sentiments. And I love this. This is from the same stamp set that I used earlier, and this one says that gratitude when you don't have enough, gratitude is enough. I think that's what it says. I hate doing voiceovers for that reason. It's so much easier for me to actually talk to you as I'm doing the video. But in cases like this, when my microphone is not working, and I have been having some technical difficulties today, the voiceover is a nice option, so I don't have to go back and re-record the same video over again. So we are moving on with inking up the stamp, and I want to ink it up really well. And we're going to put this up to the top just a little bit higher than normal because I do want those pumpkins to live at the bottom of this circle. So let's press this down really good. Give it a good press because we really need that burlap paper to soak up the ink from our stamp. And hopefully we're getting a good print, a good image on this, on the burlap. And this is not the easiest material to stamp on. As you'll see, we do get the imprint. It could be darker. Probably if I did this over, I would do it in the Misty, where I could actually go back over it a couple of times and get a darker image. But for now, we're just going to go with this. So I think that's going to look really good with the pumpkin on it. Oh, so sorry about this, folks, but again, my camera malfunctioned. It wasn't recording and the card completed, but I will go over what I did. I did glue the burlap circle down, flat down to the card, and then I popped the pumpkin up on some dimensional tape, and I think it looks really pretty like that. And on the inside, I took a 5.5 inch piece of paper by 5 3/4, and I scored it in half at 2 3/4. Anyway, and then I stamped the sentiment that says blessings and count them one by one. And I left the room at the bottom where you could write a special note to the person that you're giving the card to. And if you notice, we stand it up again to make sure that it does rock, and it does. Remember, anytime that you're doing one of these cards, that it needs to be evenly dispersed with your weight from one side to the other. It really didn't matter because we put our sentiment and all of our weight in the middle, but had you put it on one side or the other, you want to make sure that whatever you put to the left, you put the same thing to the right to even up the weight distribution so that it would rock without tilting to one side or the other. So I love the way this card turned out. I thought it was very pretty, and I'm just real pleased. I did have a lot of technical issues in getting this filmed, but I didn't give up. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will make this card or something similar. Remember what I always say, it doesn't have to be identical to what I do. Use your own stamps, your own paper, and just come up with something that is beautiful. The mechanism of this card is just gorgeous. If you do not have a scan and cut, do not be dismayed. You can still make this card. If you have a breakfast plate, you can take and lay that down on your paper and draw a circle around it, and then cut that out and still be able to score it in half and make this card. So once again, I just want to thank you for tuning in. God bless you, and I want to see you create something beautiful and share it with me over on Random Acts of Crafting by Kathy Champion on our Facebook page. If you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button below, give me a thumbs up or a like, and share this with somebody else that you know that might enjoy making something similar to this. And thank you so much again for tuning in. God bless, and take care.